You have been programmed to believe that you have to work hard in order to be rich, to be abundant. But it's simply not true. And by the end of this video, you will be programmed to be wildly rich. Because in the last 10 years, I have created multiple successful businesses. I then went and stayed at a monastery for 6 months. And after that, I traveled the world for 5 years, nonstop, going to many different countries and working remotely this whole time. And in that time, I have had some major breakthroughs and realizations as to what it actually means to be rich and the true meaning of abundance. Because being rich has really nothing to do with money, despite what the world wants you to believe, that you have to work hard, earn, and save money so that one day you'll be rich and be able to do everything that you want to do. But it's a myth. And in my realizations through these experiences that I've had, I've demystified what it actually means to be abundant. Because being rich is actually being able to do what you want when you want. Money is one of the many ways in which you can do this, but actually it's through your creativity, which is the real currency, that allows you to do what you want. What is it really? Money. In truth, it's actually just a mindset. It's actually just a feeling. Because if you were rich, how would you feel? You'd feel free. You'd feel like there are unlimited possibilities. You would feel like you don't have to wait to do anything. So you see, the feeling underlying the wealth is actually what you have. Money is just a number. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really have any inherent value in and of itself if you don't already have the attitude to be able to get it, to be able to spend it, to be able to invest it. But that is your consciousness. That is your creativity. That is your imagination. And without that, money is useless. So what would you feel like? How would you think? What would you be doing if you were rich? And if you can't answer those questions, then you will never be rich. You must first start from first principles. You must start from the source, which is yourself. And in that reality where you have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, or billions of dollars, how would you feel? Can you get a sense of that? Can you get a flavor of that within your feeling, within your senses, within your consciousness? What would be your life? What would be your attitude? What would be your mindset? What would be your self-concept? How would you relate to the world and to yourself if you had millions of dollars? You certainly wouldn't be waiting around. You wouldn't be trying to think about, what would I want to do today? You would just be acting on your inspiration because there would be no gap or anything needed for you to do anything that you can imagine, right? But you see, that's just it. That's the essence of being rich, is that there's no distance between you and your desire. And that's a feeling. The feeling of being free, the feeling of being abundant. And that is what you have access to right here, right now. There is nothing stopping you from accessing that. And anything that seems to be preventing you from accessing that is actually just a belief. That's why I said in the beginning, you've been programmed to believe you have to work hard. And from that belief of thinking that you need to work hard in order to be rich, you will have to work hard to amass a fortune. You'll have to work for years doing things that you probably don't want to do and earning to the point where you then have what you need in order to live the life that you want. But that's by no means necessary, except if you have that belief. But what happens if you change your belief? What happens if you wholeheartedly believe that it is possible for you to be you, to do what you love, to have a joyful expression of your creativity, sharing your imagination, creating from your heart, and allowing that to be the means that sustains your lifestyle. What if you were to even go more radical? What if you were to just be paid to exist? What is the believability of that for you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how believable is it that you could just be paid to exist and to live the life that you want by merely feeling rich, by merely through your existence being able to do what you want with your creativity, with your imagination? If it's a 7, okay, pretty good. If it's a 3, okay, there's room for improvement. But until you get it to 8, 9, or 10, until it's unwavering, until it's unshakable, then you're going to have to work within some degree of, I need to earn my freedom. But that's not natural. It's not inherent to who you truly are. Anything less than the absolute freedom and abundance of your timeless, infinite, eternal self is a program. And it is a program from the world that wants you to play by its rules, not to remember who you truly are. And so that's where this is founded upon, is that you are an infinite, timeless, limitless being of pure abundance. And if you really know that by knowing yourself and accepting yourself in that timeless, eternal abundance, then everything comes to you. You don't have to go out of your way. You don't have to do anything that you don't want. You don't have to work hard to earn. You simply are what you are. And that is true freedom. And when that becomes your core belief, better yet, when it becomes what you know to be true, then nothing stops you from living the life that you want, from having all that you want, from creating everything that you want to create. And so the next question becomes, what's in the way of that, right? What's stopping you from feeling that, from knowing that directly? And this is where the work comes in, so to speak, the metaphysical work in consciousness, the vibrational work to understand the ways that you're holding yourself back from feeling rich, from being the abundance that you are in truth. And the more you investigate your psyche, your consciousness, you start to uncover the ways in which you are not allowing yourself to feel that now. Because if you were to radically give yourself permission to feel into the abundance that you are right now, how does it feel? How would you feel, again, if you were rich? And the more you can allow yourself to feel that right here, right now, the more you activate that timeline, the more you shift into that reality, the more that you embody that true, infinite, timeless abundance that you always already are. And if you can allow yourself to feel that, then what is it that takes you out of that? That's the next question. Because the first step is giving yourself permission to feel into that, because you know that's who you truly are. So then you let go, you detach, and you allow yourself into that reality, into that embodiment of who you truly are. But then you go about your day and you bump up against your limiting beliefs and you give significance to the world and you take seriously the opinions of others and you start to doubt yourself again. And that is where you uncover where you're sabotaging yourself, where you're limiting yourself into linearity, into limitation, into the lack programs again. And this is where you get to uncover those programs and uproot them from their source. Not to reprogram yourself, but to deprogram yourself, because it is your true self that is already everything that you seek and more. So all you need to do is come into alignment with who you truly are. You don't need to work hard to earn more. You don't need to do anything that you don't want to do. You don't need anything, because you inherently, in essence, are already the creator of your reality. And it is through the infinite currency of your creativity, through the timeless power of your imagination, that you can have anything that you want, that you can create any life that you want, that you can be rich, wildly rich, by virtue of your existence. But unless you uncover these programs and uproot them from their source and allow yourself to hold fast the feeling of that abundance that you are, and let go of the programs, and to detach yourself from the outcome, but allow yourself to be inspired and to act on that inspiration and to see where it goes by following it, following the breadcrumb trail of that inspiration, and allowing yourself to be swept up in your desire as a reality here, as a feeling already fulfilled. Because that is the nature of your true self, is that manifestation is instant. You don't need to get anywhere. You don't need to earn it. As soon as you have the feeling, as soon as you lock into that frequency, then it is already done. And the way that you can know that you're off track or you're sabotaging the process is if you have any questions about whether it's coming, whether it's working, whether you can believe that it's happening. Because if you are wholly fulfilled in the frequency, then it is already done. Because that's the true meaning of manifestation. That you are not dependent on your reality changing. That's actually how you change your reality. By being so immersed in your imagination, so fulfilled in the feeling that you know directly that it is done. And that is how powerful you are as the creator of your reality, to be wholly content in your imagination, the power of your creativity. That is the nature and the law of attraction, because like attracts like. And until you are that which you seek, you will never attract what you desire. You must become that. And that is how you are already wildly rich. And so, after all this, can you not see that by your birthright, by the nature of who you already are, that you are rich? Because you are a creative being. You are a timeless, vibrational being. And it is through the shifting and the adjustment and the alignment within yourself, the frequency of what you are being, that everything around you reflects that which you are. So you need only know yourself, shift your consciousness into the reality that is a reflection of that desire, and everything effortlessly comes to you.